yeah, first up we have Dan from Acala, so take it away, Dan.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for having me. And it's good to see. I was actually just with Kevin in Paris at ECC, and it's nice to finally start meeting some people in person. So thanks for putting this together. I'm going to walk through some basics around, I guess I can kind of give us some foundations around, just reminders around kind of what Polkadot and Kusama are both trying to achieve. And then I'll mostly be focusing on Acala. And then I'll mention also Karura, which is a similar network to Acala that we're building on Kusama, which is actually live and kind of starting to become fully functional now. So I guess as a quick background on myself. So I'm currently VP of Growth at Acala Foundation. We are kind of the main team behind both Acala, which is being built for the Polkadot ecosystem, and then Karura, which is being built for Kusama. I've been here since February 1st, so I think around 5 or 6 months. Prior to this, I spent 1.5 years at Web3 Foundation, which is one of the two main organizations that Gavin Wood started to kind of push the Polkadot and Kusama projects forward. So just to get into this, I wanted to just introduce the team. I think most people might know, I don't know, Betty's been kind of out there quite a bit recently, but Betty, Rui Tao, Fu Yao, and Brian are the 4 co-founders. Betty, Rui Tao, and Brian are all based in New Zealand, and Fu Yao is based in China. So he's also the founder of Polka Wallet. So those teams, our 2 teams kind of interact quite a bit together. Brian's our CTO. He's one of the top Substrate developers in the world. He's leading something called the Substrate Developer Academy that hopefully you guys on the call have heard about if you're developers. And if not, definitely just Google that, Substrate Developer Academy. It's kind of a boot camp for people who want to learn more about building with Substrate. And I know for a fact that our team has hired people directly out of that program, and I think other people are as well. So definitely a program to keep your eye on. Just some of our backers, so Coinbase, Pantera, Parachains, many others have helped us kind of get to where we are today. So I know many of you probably have the background of what Polkadot is, this multi-chain kind of universe that mostly does 2 things. Polkadot connects blockchains together, so interoperability, and then it secures blockchains. So the proof of stake validator network on Polkadot is going to provide security to any parachain that connects to Polkadot, including Acala. What Acala is it's 2 things. This is a layer 1 blockchain equivalent to Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and others. And it's also an application layer that we've built on top of our own blockchain to kind of showcase what this DeFi optimized parachain can do. Here's a look at the tech stack from Polkadot up. So Polkadot being what we refer to as layer 0. You may have heard other speakers talk about this. And then going up a level, here's Acala. And when we say that Acala is optimized for DeFi, we literally mean that the core blockchain itself is built specifically for DeFi. So our products that I'll mention are our decentralized exchange, our liquid DOT staking, AUSD stablecoin, and others are Substrate palettes built into the blockchain itself. The other key kind of feature to mention is the Acala EVM. So this is going to be an environment for people to build Ethereum compatible applications within Acala. I think Brian said it's about 99% compatible with Ethereum. The reason why we didn't make it 100% Ethereum is because we wanted to optimize a little bit more for Substrate, since we think that's kind of where the everything is headed. And this allows us to customize certain features for DeFi. So for example, bring your own gas is something that's going to add a lot of kind of flexibility and ease of use to users. And what that would look like is once the Ethereum bridge is built, say you're bringing over wrapped ETH to Acala for the first time ever, and you're looking to use that maybe in the DEX for a simple swap from ETH to DOT. Your wallet, your Polkadot.js extension will have wrapped ETH in it and nothing else, because you probably don't know about ACA, you may not have it. And what this bring your own gas allows people to do is just pay the transaction fee for that first trade for DOT with the wrapped ETH that's already in your wallet. So you don't have to go out and worry about getting ACA. And then going up a level here, the applications that we've built This is already live on testnet at apps.acala.network, and you can go in and get testnet tokens pretty easily and try this out. But even better, our Kusama-based network called Karura, that's Karura. This network is live, so you can actually go today. If you bring KSM or KAR over to the Karura network, you can try out the live decentralized exchange. The stablecoin is going live any hour now. And then liquid KSM staking will be starting soon. So the Karura applications are at apps.karura.network. And I'll get into that a little bit more later. I've kind of mentioned the three of these as our core products already. The Acala Treasury is one other thing that I'll mention. In your previous presentations, hopefully whoever talked about Polkadot maybe mentioned Parachain slot auctions. This is the process you have to go through in order to win a slot on Polkadot to launch your Parachain. We have the Acala Treasury on chain that will continue to build up both native assets, which is ACA, and then foreign assets, which is things like DOT. And our goal with this is to become self-sustainable. So the Acala Treasury will have a pretty large and substantial amount of DOT in it that we can use to make sure that we have sustainability in the future to secure these future slots through Parachain slot auctions. I'll go through this very quickly. So back when the Acala team, so the four that I showed on the slide earlier, when they were coming in to build Acala, they didn't just come to Polkadot without looking elsewhere. They evaluated every other option out there, including deeply evaluating Ethereum and Cosmos and others. Some of the main reasons why they chose to build in the Polkadot ecosystem is because number one, the security, plug and play security. So you come in and like I said, you get to inherit the existing security setup of Polkadot. And probably the second biggest reason is Substrate. So you all will be getting probably pretty deeply into Substrate, but the flexibility that this offers to developers building these blockchains, I don't think they were able to find elsewhere. I guess a couple other things to mention. Everything else I think is pretty clear here, but this self-upgradability is one that I think is underappreciated by people. It's actually kind of good timing where it's the day of the Ethereum hard fork. I've seen people, like exchanges had to send emails out to people warning them about this. There's going to be delays. It's causing quite a bit of effort and frankly, a little bit of a mess among the Ethereum community. With Polkadot, this is as simple as just making an upgrade, voting on it, and pushing the upgrade live. And we've done this, I believe, 24 times since Polkadot launched just a year ago, the equivalent to what Ethereum's doing today with this hard fork. So we don't have to hard fork our networks at the Polkadot layer. And then at the Parachain layer, if Acala is going to be making an upgrade to our chain, we don't have to do a hard fork. We can continuously upgrade. So this is going to lead to, I think, a pretty rapid rate of innovation compared to networks who may need to constantly do hard forks. Just a quick look at the UI. So this is what you'll see if you go to our testnet URL that I gave you earlier. I can post that in the chat afterwards if you're interested. I will get into this. I don't know how much time I've spent, but I'll wrap it up fairly quickly. But Liquid DOT is probably, I would say, the product that I'm most excited about, and I think has some of the biggest potential to be a complete game changer. Right now, I think, I haven't looked lately, but last I looked, it was like $11 or $12 billion in DOT are staked. And when you stake in a decentralized manner through Polkadot.js, you have to lock your tokens, so those become useless besides the returns that they might be getting, 12, 15%. With Liquid DOT, as you can see here, you'll come in, you'll stake your DOT, and then in return, you'll receive this liquid form of that called LDOT. So your DOT will be staked, earning returns, and then you'll all of a sudden have this balance here of LDOT. This balance, I don't know if some of you have staked on Coinbase. I like their UI where they showed you're constantly earning more and more every second. This is how LDOT's going to be. It's a receipt for your underlying stake DOT. So this LDOT balance will go up every day as my DOTs are earning interest. But the other thing you can do is it's liquid. So you can go and use this for additional gains or returns in DeFi. So you could take out maybe half of it, take half of your LDOT and mint the stablecoin. and then go to the DEX and become a liquidity provider for the LDOT and AUSD pair and earn liquidity provider rewards for that. So this is going to unlock billions of dollars in liquidity for DOTs in the Acala ecosystem. But then I also want to mention, we got a grant from the Compound team, and we're going to be building a bridge, which they call a starport, from Acala to Compound. This is the new Compound gateway chain that's also built with Substrate, which is important to mention, but we'll be bringing DOT and LDOT over to Compound for their kind of multi-chain money market they're building. The Acala DEX, very similar to Uniswap. So last thing I'll mention, in terms of where I think DeFi is headed over the next couple of years, we're not fully to the point where the banks are going to be doing DeFi. But what is starting to happen and what we're already working on is fintechs and these, what they're starting to call neobanks, are beginning to explore very deeply with DeFi. There's a company in the US called Current, and Current.com is a fintech company with 3 million customers who have savings accounts on Current. And the Current CTO is a very forward-looking guy who came to us asking if we could integrate with them to provide a DeFi backend for Current's savings account. So imagine you're in the US, you open up your app, and one day they offer you a new product called maybe Current Earned, for example. And you can opt into that product and earn maybe a little bit more interest. Maybe it's 3%, 4% when you're used to your 0.5% savings account. All of those returns are actually being generated from Acala and this yield engine that we're building. And those returns will be flowing back into US dollars into the hands of Current's customers. So pretty cool example there. And last, so Karura is the exact same setup as Acala. This is our platform that I said is live right now. You can test this out at apps.karura.network. And I'll paste also in the chat here, there's a guide. If you're not onboarded into Polkadot.js, the wallet extension, you'll need to do that. And it's fairly easy if you're somewhat technical. So that's an overview on Acala, and hopefully you guys learned something new. Happy to answer some questions.
That was fantastic, Dan. Thank you very much. And yeah, we've had a few kind of questions. So Tommy's asked, learning from the voting hiccups with Cora, would it make sense to roll out Acala with more features, e.g. AUSD, without asking for the community's permission for everything?
This person's definitely in the know. So yesterday we had an interesting situation. We were actually 15 minutes before our crowdcast, and we hadn't like gone over the slides together yet. And I was like, Betty, we need to go over these slides. And she's like, we just found out the vote was no on the stablecoin proposal. So we were like, okay. So we had to kind of come up with what to do. But it ended up being a very good learning experience for us as a team, but then also for the community. I think everyone just got kind of lackadaisical because everyone just assumes these things are going to pass. But what happened was there was only like 10 people that voted. And then at the last second, somebody came in, and with Polkadot's voting, Polkadot and Kusama's voting mechanism, you can do what's called voting with conviction. So I can say like, I want my 100 KAR to count for 400 if I do a 4X, but I'm willing to lock my tokens away for, say it's 4 days. I don't know exactly what it is. So somebody came in at the last second, voted no with 4X conviction, and made the stablecoin proposal fail. But then we did it on the crowdcast, we did a poll, and like, I think 98% said that they would vote yes. So it was a great learning experience for even me. We woke up this morning, sent out an email to everyone. We got a email voting alert system set up so that everyone can go in and vote. And then we've gotten the proposal re-proposed. So this is going to pass today. There's I think over 300 votes in there now for yes. With the question on how this would impact Acala, I don't think that we would ever take a learning from this and apply that as doing it in a centralized manner for Acala. We will continue doing this in a community involved, decentralized governance setup for every upgrade, because that's how just kind of how we will approach this. And if something does in fact fail and it had a significant amount of voter turnout, then that's the decision that the community made. But in this case, it was just a huge lack of voter turnout. So overall, it was a good experience for everyone.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of getting used to DAOs and the kind of many pitfalls there can be, especially with kind of low voter turnout, having if someone's just very convicted against it and everyone else is kind of a bit isn't positive enough to vote for it, then it can cause some failures. But yeah, good to see the lessons learned there. And Raphael's asked, so are Acala smart contracts written in Solidity or Substrate?
So all the applications that I showed you, those are all live and built directly on Acala with no smart contracts involved. So there's no like Solidity smart contracts allowing that to happen. Our apps are more so a front end that allow you to access the palettes inside of the blockchain itself. So the DEX you're basically using directly instead of using smart contracts. For Solidity smart contracts, when I showed that I can actually just go back here, Solidity smart contracts will operate within the EVM, and we actually are updating this chart, but this EVM also plugs into all of these other components. So you can be running Solidity smart contracts and applications that can also leverage the liquidity in the DEX, for example, or the stablecoin. So Solidity work will be done here within the EVM.
Awesome. And then we also have a final question from Al, who said, other than bypassing the 28-day lockup, what are the benefits of staking LDOT over regular staking of DOT?
So yeah, so there's the staking benefits, which is what this person said. So no unbonding period. There is a small fee if you want to unbond early. The other aspect is the liquidity. So you have, say you're staking $1,000 worth of DOT. Would you rather have your $1,000 sitting there earning 12%, or would you rather have your $1,000 earning 12% and you get an additional $1,000 to go earn more with? So it's the fact that you have the unlocked liquidity on your assets, which is the most kind of valuable benefit to users. So yeah, it's going to be interesting when we launch LKSM on Karura to see how much liquidity comes over and is staked, because I personally don't see any downside in, like, I don't know why you wouldn't stake on Karura. I'm personally moving everything over when we go live. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds like a lot more flexibility. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the questions we have time for now. But thank you very much, Dan,